Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad announced the plan during the first meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Dengue Control, adding that the initiative will cost 4 million ringgit annually.
Zulkifli said the release of the Wolbachia mosquitoes will reduce the ability of Aedes mosquitoes to transmit the infection. He said it was first implemented in 2019 in 32 localities, with 19 areas showing a significant decrease of dengue cases, between 45% and 100%. The Health Ministry recorded an 86.3% hike in the number of dengue cases in 2023 compared to the previous year, with some 2,715 dengue cases recorded in the last week of 2023 alone. A total of 100 deaths due to complications from dengue were reported in 2023 compared to 56 in 2022. Besides the Wolbachia initiative, Zulkifli said large-scale campaigns and gotong royong projects involving government agencies, NGOs, local leaders and the community will also be carried out in 2024.
The Parent Action Group for Education Malaysia, PAGE, has submitted a memorandum to all cabinet ministers calling for the continuation and expansion of the dual language program DLP in schools. PAGE said that while there were 1,600 DLP schools in Malaysia, 1,200 of them were in Sarawak alone.
In the memorandum from 35 education groups, they also demanded for the Education Minister Fadlina Sidek to reverse her previous directive for participating schools to include at least one non-DLP class, as it was against the guidelines.
We want her to stop insisting that there is a non-DLP class in full DLP schools because parents do not want it, and also it's not in the guidelines. We are fine with the guidelines. We want her to follow the guidelines and not add on all these restrictions.
Azimah said parents and the schools were also not provided an official channel to appeal the directive, adding that MOE's decision to review DLP appeal on a case-by-case basis is superficial. She stressed how only 5.3% of the primary schools in Peninsula and Sabah are a part of the program, far from the initial target of 2,500 DLP schools when the program was first introduced. Additionally, the group also urged the minister to respect parents' choices on DLP and to be fair to students enrolled in the program while calling an end to the uncertainty over the scheme at all levels. Azimah also revealed that the Education Ministry has not responded to any of the meetup requests by education advocacy groups on the matter.
It is not the public prosecutor's duty to inform the public why criminal charges are initiated or dropped against a person in court, says Attorney General Datuk Ahmad Teriruddin Muhammad Saleh. He says it is up to the public prosecutor's discretion to file or discontinue charges as enshrined under the Federal Constitution.
Teriruddin said all stakeholders should understand and respect the role of the public prosecutor and must act fairly towards all parties and not be selective in certain matters. His remarks during his maiden speech at the opening of the legal year 2024 came at the wake of a judicial review filed by the Malaysian Bar last month, targeting the AG's decision to grant a DNAA in Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's corruption case. Zahid was accused with 47 counts of abusing millions of ringgit belonging to a charitable foundation, Yayasan Akal Budi. In response to Teriruddin's remarks, Lawyers for Liberty expressed concerns over the lack of accountability coming from the AG. Its director, Zayed Malik, said in a democracy, no public office, including that of the AG, should be exempt from public scrutiny, and that the AG does not possess absolute discretion that is contrary to the rule of law.
Over to international news. Taiwan's elections over the weekend saw 40.1% of voters pick pro-sovereignty candidate Lai Ching-te as their next president. Collins Chong from University Malaya discusses what lies ahead for Taiwan and politics on the island.
From this result, it has been made clear that the Taiwanese people, especially the younger population, although they have been, they are faced with these increasing difficulties in terms of economic prospects, it's clear by now that the bigger picture of maintaining autonomy, sovereignty, and independence of Taiwan in a way that it is governed, in a way that it is dictated by the will of the people through democracy, through freedom, have always been the first priority for the Taiwanese people. Although we have seen the results of these, economic difficulties being translated in the, results in the parliament, we have also seen a reduced, seats for the DPP, and now that KMT has a higher seat volume in the parliament. Of course, moving forward, I think Lai will have much more difficult time to have an alignment of policy agreement on major issues, on major foreign issues also. So, of course, Lai Ching-te's victory is very much welcomed by the US, by the West, and that reaffirms the stature, the need to reaffirm the sanctity of freedom and democracy, and that of course it will have profound ramifications on future cross-strait relations, as well as future ties with both China and the US.
Lai was chosen as Taiwan's new president despite China's warnings against voting for his Democratic Progressive Party. Collins weighs in on how Beijing might react and potential implications for cross-strait relations.
DPP has made it clear that the future of Taiwan will only be dictated by the will of the people, meaning it's through the notion of elections, through the notion of respecting the voices of the people. We'll see that in the next couple of days, how China might respond. And we have already seen that in terms of, Beijing has also called out, Japan and the US for, their actions of, sending congratulations to Lai Ching-te, which is being construed as, giving legitimacy to the DPP and to Taiwan, although, they have also vowed, to adhere to this one China policy.
Collins also assesses the feasibility of Beijing following through with its threats of military force.
If Beijing was to, really take this into a bigger parallel and bigger picture, and whether Xi Jinping will need to wait for a greater economic, stability before the invasion, before the force will take over, it remains to be seen. Because if he was to make a move now, then economic implications will be severe, and of course also, now is not really the best time for him to have this, an all-out venture of Taiwan, seeing the case, taking the example of the lessons of Ukraine, for example. So, and whether it's wise also for him to wait for another 3 or 4 years of, Lai Ching-te's administration, which will have a more consolidated military capacity, but also at the same time, you have to face with, a more forceful and a more united and stable counter capacity by the West also.
Following the weekend's presidential election, Nauru has severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan in favor of China. Its government says it will no longer recognize Taiwan as a separate country, but rather as part of China's territory.
Taiwan described the timing of the move as China's retaliation for its democratic elections. Taiwan's Deputy Foreign Minister Tian Chung-kwang also accused China of attempting to buy over the country with financial aid. He said his ministry remained on alert to counter any moves by China to isolate Taiwan on the international stage. This is not the first time Nauru has cut ties with Taiwan. It made a similar diplomatic switch to China in 2002, only to restore relations with Taipei in 2005. The latest switch leaves just 12 countries that still maintain diplomatic ties with Taiwan, including Paraguay, Guatemala, and the Marshall Islands.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more. Welcome back. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to continue the military assault on Gaza until total victory is achieved as the war reaches 100 days. In his weekly cabinet meeting, he presented a 2024 budget proposal that includes a 3% reduction for all ministries in his government to secure funding for the ongoing war. His remarks came as Israel awaits a ruling from the International Court of Justice, in which South Africa has accused it of genocide against Palestinians. Meanwhile, fighting in Gaza continued as clashes were reported in the Khan Yunis area in the southern part of the enclave. Communications and internet services in Gaza were cut for the third day running, preventing relief workers from helping people in areas affected by the fighting. More than 24,000 people have been killed in Israel's assault on Gaza. The World Health Organization noted that most hospitals in the Strip have ceased to function, with the remaining 15 only able to provide limited services. The battle is on to save the Icelandic town of Grindavik after at least 3 houses were torched when lava flowed into the town and onto the main road. A volcano on the Reykjanes Peninsula erupted in the early hours of Sunday, sending lava into the fishing town for the second time in less than a month. The village of 3,800 people was evacuated in November after a different eruption, but some residents had been allowed home. They are now forced to leave their homes once again following the latest eruption. But authorities said that lava flows into the town appeared to be slowing as of Monday. Iceland in recent weeks sought to build barriers of earth and rock to prevent lava from reaching Grindavik, but the latest eruption appeared to have penetrated the defenses. Iceland has more than 30 active volcano systems. The world's richest 5 men have more than doubled their fortunes since 2020, while 5 billion people have been made poorer in the same period. This is according to a new report on inequality by anti-poverty group Oxfam.
The 5 are LVMH boss Bernard Arnault, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, investor Warren Buffett, Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. They are worth a combined $869 billion after growing their fortunes at a rate of $14 million an hour over the past 4 years. Meanwhile, nearly 800 million workers have seen their pay fail to keep pace with inflation over the past 2 years, resulting in an average loss of 25 days annual income per worker. The London-based charity said that if current trends continue, the world will have its first trillionaire within a decade, but poverty will not be eradicated for another 229 years. Oxfam called on governments to curb corporate power by breaking up monopolies, introducing taxes on excess profits and wealth, and promoting alternatives to shareholder control, such as forms of employee ownership.
That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching and good night.